Good Saturday afternoon. This is Caleb here, Indiana Weather Network, Indiana Weather Online. We are live for a tornado warning. Northern Posey County and southern Gibson County now under a tornado warning. And this goes until 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Area of rotation was located just to the south and west of Poseyville in northern Posey County. It has since broadened a little bit, but we are very close to the radar, so it's a little bit hard to tell. Rain wrap rotation directly over Poseyville. This is getting right across I 64 and State Road 165. It'll be moving towards the Cynthiana areas in far southern Gibson County. Again, tornado warning. This is radar indicated in effect for 27 more minutes here until 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This is radar indicated rotation. The good news is this has broadened out in the last couple of minutes. It was fairly tight, just to the southwest of Poseyville, right where you see that bright pocket of green with a little bit of red holding hands. This would have been directly on top of State Road Highway 68 and what looks like Bollock Road in northern Posey County. This was at 4:23 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:23 Central, just northeast of New Harmony, and this is moving off to the north and east. I do believe this storm kind of had a little bit of a merger, a little bit of an influence there associated with it. Again, tornadoes is not a high risk today here in Indiana, but kind of like yesterday, if you get a couple boundaries interacting, a brief spin up tornado cannot be ruled out. Primary risks here today are going to be damaging winds as well as torrential rainfall and flooding over the same areas that saw torrential rainfall. In fact, I don't think there was a county in southern Indiana this morning and last night that did not have some sort of flood alert issued for them. So once again, stationary front draped across southern and central Indiana. That's going to set the stage for more rounds of heavy rainfall associated in this region. But we do have a tornado warning, and that's for northern Posey County and southern Gibson County until 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This is radar indicated rotation. Area broad rotation be directly over Poseyville, moving towards the Cynthiana area. It was a little bit tighter just a few moments ago, right there. Right, this is what prompted the tornado warning. This gate to gate is above VROC criteria for a tornado warning. Your inbounds and outbounds really strong. Kind of a low level couplet here. Quickly spun up. You can see it started right about here. Got quite strong there before broadening out over Poseyville. And now the latest scan, really hard to depict where that rotation is, but we are very close to the radar site here. Sometimes you can get a little bit of interference and a little bit of distortion right at the radar site itself. This is for northern Posey County as well as southern Gibson County until 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This is radar indicated tornado warning. Going through the rest of the afternoon, we do not expect there to be a widespread severe weather today. This was I still believe it to be kind of a one-off event. There is a severe thunderstorm watch that is issued for extreme portions of southern Indiana. Actually, I don't even think it includes Indiana. I think it stops at the border there. So right at the Ohio River in areas south for our severe thunderstorm watch. It does not include southern Indiana. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the Boonville area as well as Linville, Indiana. 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail, mainly just warned for winds. A few instances of gusty winds have to keep an eye on. Also, this cell here, starting to get a little bit of a hook on it near the Arthur area, maybe perhaps a little bit of broad rotation. So that same surface boundary, my guess is there's a surface boundary draped across this areas, and these storms briefly trying to take hold of it. The good news is our tornado warning was just canceled. So they issued it and then they just canceled it. So we are back to a severe thunderstorm warning. So the tornado warning for Gibson and Posey County has been canceled. They canceled that very, very quickly. So we have no tornado warnings in effect now in Indiana, just a severe thunderstorm warning. That rotation that prompted the tornado warning at 4:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 3:23 Central Time, was located just southwest of Poseyville along Bollock Road and State Road 68, northern Posey County, north of 66, between New Harmony and Poseyville. That has since weakened to the point where there is no rotation at all, and which is good news. So that warning has been allowed to be canceled. So no more tornado warnings in the state of Indiana. We are watching an area of broad rotation over the Arthur area trying to develop there, likely on a surface boundary. These storms can briefly interact with surface boundaries, and they can sometimes that can create a little bit of spin at the low levels. But again, tornadoes are not a big threat here today in Indiana, and the overall risk for severe weather is quite low. Not really expecting too much in the way of severe weather today, or at least significant severe weather. An isolated strong to severe storm can't be ruled out. But the main hazards are going to be damaging winds, strong to damaging winds, 30 miles per hour up to 60 miles per hour. Again, tornadoes are quite low on the risk. Thankfully, that tornado warning was just canceled. So if you're in Posey County or Gibson County, that tornado warning has been canceled by the National Weather Service in Paducah, Kentucky. The area of rotation, which prompted the warning just a few minutes ago, got pretty tight there. So not a bad call by the National Weather Service in Paducah to put a tornado warning on that, just in case it were to continue. It was moving right towards Poseyville and Cynthiana areas there in northern Posey County. Thankfully, it was a real quick spin up. Nothing on our debris tracker that indicated anything touched down. This was at 3:23 Central Time, 4:23 Eastern. Thankfully, I don't see any more areas of rotation there. We are kind of watching a couple little cells, maybe a little bit of broad rotation near the Arthur area. Severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-size hail. Same thing for Perry County. Severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-size hail. I really don't see a lot of winds there. The strongest winds I see down here are actually in Kentucky, coming into the Fordsville area. But we'll watch this area. There is kind of a little bit of a localized spin at the surface. There may be like a remnant MCV that's kind of moving through the area. Mesoscale convective vortex. I can also add a little bit of vorticity at the surface. So that's something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. Areas north along I-70, along our stationary front itself, which is currently draped pretty much right smack on top of I-70, could have some slow-moving training showers and storms along the I-70 corridor. Think Lafayette, Kokomo, Muncie, and areas south. I don't think we're going to see any rain north of those areas. But the greatest risk for storms and an isolated strong to severe storm is going to be southern Indiana, where we just had that tornado warning get issued and then canceled within 10 minutes. That is good news. That area of rotation right in there. You can see the couplet on the right side of your screen. So I have dual screens up. The left side is showing precipitation, where the rain is falling the heaviest. Lightest rains in the greens, heavier rains in the red and pinks. And then on the right side of your screen, what are the winds doing within that rain? Are they rotating? Are they straight line winds? This tool, relative velocity, helps differentiate those movements and velocities associated with them. And that bright pocket of kind of almost a turquoise color, bright green, those are a pocket of very strong winds with a little bit of a couplet there on the north side that tried to take hold there. This was a very shallow area of rotation, even a little bit of a kind of a rain-wrapped hook there that tried to form just to the west of Poseyville. I think the storm just kind of influenced with an outflow boundary, or even had a little bit of a nudger influence from these other showers around it as well. Thankfully, that is not the case anymore. So if you're in Gibson County, if sirens are still sounding, you guys are in the clear. Just torrential rainfall. Watch out for flooding once again. Hopefully, you guys know the drill about flooding in Gibson County. You guys have just been pounded relentlessly over the past 3 days. I wouldn't be surprised to see some 3-day totals approaching 10 inches in some of these areas. And I'm not joking. There's just some torrential rainfall that has been occurring in this neck of the woods here in Indiana. Yeah, I don't see any more rotation up in that area either. But wanted to come on here since we did have that tornado warning. That prompts a live stream. So we needed to come on here and cover that for you. But also when tornado warnings expire, just as important. You know, sometimes storm sirens may still be sounding. That one they canceled pretty quick as the area of rotation no longer prompted the need for a tornado warning in Gibson County or Posey County, which is good news. But going through the rest of the evening here, flash flooding is going to be the primary hazard. Can't rule out a few damaging wind gusts. These are waterlogged storms. Very heavy torrential rainfall occurring with these storms. Rainfall rates could easily exceed 1.5 to 2 inches per hour. and that is something that we are going to be monitoring here for the remainder of the evening. We actually have a moderate risk by the WPC Weather Prediction Center for flash flooding, and I'll go ahead and take one screen back here for you, and I will show you what that looks like here. We'll go to the Weather Prediction Center excessive rainfall outlook. So here is the area highlighted by the Weather Prediction Center. This is different from the Storm Prediction Center. The WPC is focused on hydrologic impacts, rainfall impacts. You can see areas in red here. That's a moderate risk for flash flooding, excessive rainfall, which means any storms that form in this area are likely going to be slow moving. They're going to have heavy rainfall rates up to 2 inches per hour. And this area, even areas in yellow, including Gibson County, these soils are saturated. We have seen 3 to 5 plus inches, some areas approaching, 8 plus inches of rain in the past 3 to 5 days down here. And it just does not take much more rain to be problematic. Our soils just can't hold it, period. We just don't have the room in our soil to hold any more water. So where does it go? It runs off. So that is going to be problematic down here in the Evansville area, Boonville area as well. Going back to radar here, our tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So if you're in Posey County, Johnson County, you're in the clear. Turning back dual panel on here just to look at our area of rotation. I don't see any rotation. A few pockets, some gusty winds, but that is not rotation in origin there. That is straight line winds there, perhaps 40, 60 miles per hour. Although this warning is up to 60 miles per hour, not everyone in that box is going to see 60 mile per hour winds. Just know that ahead of time, but be prepared for it as there are embedded pockets of winds up to 60 miles per hour associated in these storms. But the good news is our tornado warning has been allowed to expire. This is in far southern Indiana, Posey County, Vanderburgh County, Warwick County, Gibson County. Those areas to kind of give you a little bit of a heads up of where we are looking at. Evansville, Boonville, Mount Vernon, Poseyville, Johnson, etc. The good news is, though, our these storms look pretty mediocre. We don't really have the wind shear and instability to really support widespread severe weather today, which is good, which is why we were forecasting kind of a low end risk today. I do personally believe that tornado warning was kind of a one-off event. We don't really have the atmospheric ingredients to support many tornadoes today. Now, spin up tornado can't be ruled out. There is kind of a remnant MCV moving through the area, and that can enhance a little bit of spin at the very lowest levels. So if any storm is able to merge or influence with a boundary of some sort, you may get a brief spin up tornado or even a land spout, but I really don't think that's high on the worry list here today. But we'll keep an eye on that as these storms move across southern Indiana. Primary hazard today is probably going to be flash flooding and gusty winds, perhaps some strong 30 to 60 miles per hour in some of the stronger storms. But the primary hazard is going to be flash flooding down here. Our soils are saturated. We just can't hold the water that these storms are producing. Just gully washers is what we're looking at here. And we are watching a couple of these areas of strong winds here, Somerville and State Road 168. Maybe even a little bit of weak rotation there associated with that, kind of on the same storm that prompted our tornado warning earlier. And actually, the strongest area, there's actually a little bit of rotation right here, right over the Mackey, coming into the Mackey area. There's a little bit of broad rotation right in here. This is on top of State Road 168 and I-69, right on the 68-69 interchange there, coming near the Spurgeon area and Mackey area. A little bit of low-level rotation there. That is going to be just kind of developed there. So right on the northern edge of that MCV, but also getting influenced by some other showers in the vicinity as well. So we'll stay on here. We'll keep an eye on that just in case it does strengthen. Paducah is very quick at issuing warnings. They're usually pretty swift at it, so we'll stay on here just in case. But this is in actually eastern Gibson County, coming into the Mackey area north of 68, right on top of 168. 168 and I-69, there's a rain-wrapped area of some rotation here coming into the Mackey area. There's nothing on debris track or anything like that. Not quite strong enough for a tornado warning, but we'll keep an eye on that as it moves into the towards the Somerville area, Somerville, and Spurgeon areas. So broad area of rotation right on top of State Road 168 and I-69. So I have the new reflectivity scan. We are waiting on the scan on the velocity side of things. This is 4:44 Eastern, 3:44 Central Time. We did have a tornado warning for Gibson and Posey about 10 minutes ago. That has since expired, or actually been canceled. Correction there. Hopefully we don't see another one here, but we'll keep an eye on this. If you're in Eastern Gibson County, there's kind of two areas of rotation we're keeping an eye on here. There's the latest scan, and it's actually pretty decent. At least a pocket of strong straight line winds there, just southwest of Mackey, if not maybe a little bit of rotation there. But to me, it looks more straight line winds versus tornadic via the latest scan. So kind of a pocket of straight line winds there. Perhaps maybe a low level couplet, but to me, it looks more reminiscent of straight line winds. Looking at a couple things here behind the scenes. Perhaps even a little bit of some rotation just north of the Spurgeon area. Looking at our debris tracker here, I don't think we have anything, but we'll go ahead and pull that up here. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect here. You can see that gust front really kind of grow and expand here south of the Mackey area as well. Yeah, nothing on our debris tracker or anything like that, which is good news. Looks to be primarily straight line winds there in the Gibson County area. This will be coming into Pike County as well under a severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail. But the good news is our severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. Or actually, our tornado warning was allowed to be canceled there for Gibson County and Posey County. Earlier here this afternoon, near the Poseyville area, we had an area of rotation which prompted a tornado warning right in here. This is at 4:23 Central Time, or sorry, 3:23 Central Time and 4:23 Eastern Daylight Time. Area of rotation right in here, just southwest of Poseyville, that prompted our tornado warning. It since dissipated, and the tornado warning was canceled. We are watching an area of pocket of straight line winds, and maybe even a little bit of broad rotation near the Mackey area. But it looks more straight line. There we go. Yeah, more of a gust front associated with that severe thunderstorm warning in effect there for 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail. This is for southern Indiana for areas in Gibson County, Pike County, Vanderburgh County, and areas in between. South of US 50 is kind of where we're looking at again today. Very similar areas to what we saw yesterday is what is going on now. So good news is no tornado warnings here in Indiana anymore. Just down to severe thunderstorm warnings, and they're all baseline severe thunderstorm warnings as well. No tornado possible tags in any of these. Just multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-sized hail. Hail is not a big risk here today in southern Indiana. It's going to primarily be damaging winds, form of straight line winds, as well as flash flooding. Can't rule out a brief spin up tornado with that presence of kind of a decaying MCV moving through the region. That can enhance a little bit of spin at the surface, but primary risk is going to be on the form of straight line winds as well as torrential rainfall. We'll unfortunately see, there's lots of flash flood warnings getting issued once again. Um, Pretty much the entire region of southern southwest Indiana was under some sort of flood advisory, flash flood warning last night into this morning from torrential rainfall. Unfortunately, we're doing it again. Some areas may pick up in addition. There's another one that just got issued. Flash flood warning now for this is Gibson County, Spencer County, Warwick County. So a big one there. Multiple counties under that flash flood warning. Between 1 and 3 inches of rain has fallen, and additional amounts of 1 to 2 inches are possible as well. So some areas could see an additional 3 to 5 inches of rain today on top of what they got yesterday and the day before that. We were approaching 8+ inches of rain for some areas here. And watching this area south of Arthur a little bit here, still looks more straight line winds in nature here, but we are keeping an eye on that area. Severe thunderstorm warning continues here for about 5 minutes, with the new one taking over for 35 more minutes, or until 4:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Looks to be some strong winds there coming into Pike County, just north of the Spurgeon area and Arthur areas, getting some strong straight line winds there. This is in Pike County for the strongest winds here in Indiana. Looking around the region, I really don't see too much more in the area here. That's even looks to be near severe criteria. These storms down here, my guess is they're going to let this warning expire. If you're in the Spencer County area, Santa Claus, Indiana, I really don't see much in the way of wind within these at all. More or less just heavy storms here associated with that. But we do have some decently strong winds here in Pike County, and that is coming in towards the Arthur area, Stendale areas. 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. Penny-sized hail is below severe criteria. We need quarter size or greater. And this severe thunderstorm warning does include northern Warwick County as well, Gibson County, as well as Pike County here in Indiana until 4:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Kind of watching this area right in here. This area intrigues me just a little bit, but it looks to be more straight line winds. But we're going to watch it here for a couple more scans before jetting off here. But a nice pocket of at least some straight line winds moving through, and that's what it looks like to me on radar. But we'll keep an eye on that. There is a little bit of even a little bit of a hook on radar here, so we're going to watch this area here for a few more minutes to make sure nothing develops off of that. It is kind of reminiscent of maybe perhaps some low level rotation there just south of Arthur in southern Pike County, south of 64. We'll keep an eye on that to make sure nothing happens there, and that remains straight line winds. Make sure nothing tries to tighten up there. This storm has a history of producing some broad rotation associated with it, all the way back to Gibson County and Posey County. The storm prompted a tornado warning earlier For Posey County, northern Posey County extending into Gibson County for areas of rotation around 3:23 Central Time, 4:23 Eastern Daylight Time, just southwest of Poseyville. Thankfully, nothing much came of it there, at least what was seen on radar. That quickly broadened out, but we were watching a pocket of some strong winds here near the Winslow area and Linville areas, just south of Arthur and Pike County. Some strong winds there. Yeah, Sam, I'm not sure what where that report was at. I guess this is the first I'm hearing about it, so not sure on that. But right now, the only storm that's really worth mentioning about is in Pike County. Looking down to the south towards Perry County under a severe thunderstorm warning, I really don't see much going on down here. We don't really get into some stronger winds until we're into Kentucky. Just to the west of the Leachfield area and Fordsville area have some strong winds associated with that, and that's not even warned. So really, I don't see much going on until Pike County. In this area here near the Arthur area is kind of what we're looking at right now. Maybe some broad rotation on the northern end, but more or less straight line winds in Pike County, moving along State Road 64, coming near the Stendale area, under a severe thunderstorm warning for 31 more minutes here. And we have Ryan in here, everybody.
Howdy do. My audio should be coming through okay.
Yeah, you sound fine on my end. Let us know in the chat if you can hear Ryan. I believe he's going to be taking over here for a little bit here, just to keep an eye on this here before we.
Yeah, Caleb, I got you. If you want to
Okay.
go ahead and chop out, I'll probably end the stream here shortly too. I'll keep an eye on this for a few more scans at least. But
that's kind of what we were doing here. Luckily, we haven't seen an additional tornado warning, and I was kind of telling everybody that I think that was kind of a one-off event there, maybe influencing with an outflow boundary, but there is kind of a decaying MCV moving through, but not a lot of other ingredients to really make that very effective at the moment. So not too bad of an environment. Flash flooding, though, has been a big risk, right? Unfortunately, those green polygons are popping up again. Just some of these areas, Ryan, they're close to approaching double-digit rainfall totals over the past 5 days in southern Indiana. So, and that's also makes these straight line winds a little bit more dangerous as well. Soils are saturated, and trees are going to have a hard time holding on to the wet soils as well. So, any type of wind event down here with saturated soils are only going to be problematic. It's rolly down here. Watch out for some mudslides as well on some of those looser hillsides. So with that being said, I'm going to jet out, and Ryan is going to be taking over for me.
All right. Thank you, Caleb. We're watching an area here of, what I call it a pocket of straight line winds here for the time being. But there is some, I'd say just a little bit of rotation with that storm too. I'm trying to get a motion vector on the storm so I can update my radar. There it is, 264 at 42. Get that updated here so I can get a better look at things. There we go. Perfect. So as Caleb was mentioning, I'm sure I haven't really heard everything he was talking about there, but definitely flash flooding today across South Indiana is going to be the main concern. In fact, I'm going to take the radar here full for you guys, just so you can see it a bit better for you. So if I zoom out, the area of interest, if you're just tuning in, is way far south in South Indiana here. I'll go ahead and turn on my radars. There we go. So if we go up to Indianapolis radar, we're going to notice there's a couple showers that are up by the Lafayette, Frankfort, Fishers, Muncie, Richmond area. But none of these showers are just to be concerned about, really. So going further south, though, this is where we're most concerned about. Heavy rain has already plagued, especially the very far southern two tiers of counties in Indiana. So that is that's our highest concern right now is flash flooding, but there are a couple severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. And as mentioned, Pike County is one area we're going to watch for a few more minutes at least, just to make sure this doesn't go back or tightens up into more rotation. But I'm sure Caleb also mentioned that the wind shear today is quite weak in nature. So it's going to take a little bit extra to get some storms to rotate today. And that storm probably had just a bit more of some extra lift or some spin locally speaking. So we don't expect that to be a recurring thing today. It should just be a one-off. But we have a severe warning in effect here for Perry County. Could be this one down here by the Leopold and Tell City area. That's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds as that heads up toward Leopold. So you guys should be taking shelter there, inside, away from windows at best, areas away from windows and lowest floor of your house. Up here, going to the north, we have the severe warning in effect for Pike County, as well as the very far eastern part of Gibson County up here. Winslow, Arthur, Spurgeon, Stendal, and Belpin areas. We're tracking an area of at very least straight line winds, a brighter red pocket there. We're looking at pocket there of at least 50 to 60 mile per hour winds heading toward Belpin, Stendal, perhaps Huntingburg, but it's on kind of like a beeline here toward Jasper. So if you're downstream in Dubois County, let's just head in your direction here. At very least, expect there to be some strong wind chances with that storm. But again, there is just a tiny bit of rotation there. We're going to track that just carefully. But latest couple scans here, you kind of see how the reds and greens come together there, and it's kind of weakened out as it moves forward. But it kind of remains elevated in nature. So we're going to keep an eye on it for about 1 or 2 more scans. We'll give it, what time is it? 5:03. We'll give it till like 5:05, 5:10. We'll hop back out of here. Again, today's risk is not going to be a widespread, long-lived event. So our coverage here shouldn't be needed for long here. But again, as Caleb was mentioning, flash flooding is the biggest concern here. Let's hop into the chat here and let's go ahead and talk to you guys here in chat. What's up, Megan? I recognize you from the Michigan side. Welcome in. Tree says, good evening. Ethan says shared. Tyler says Jasper County. Can't read the map. What can I do to help you read the map? So fun fact, we are about to release our own both mobile app for your iPhone, Android, but also the desktop version. And we're going to be using that more often coming soon here. We're about probably 5 days away, perhaps, from launching our app. So keep an eye on that. We'll be up running soon. But in the meantime, I might be able to show you guys a sneak peek of what our desktop software looks like. Not sure I can get access to it or not. I might not be able to, which is okay. It's private right now anyway. So yes, Megan, desktop version as well for the Radar under the Pro subscription. It'll look just like if you're familiar with Radar Scope or Radar Omega, similar to those products. How is Newcastle looking? So again, further north up here, we'll go ahead and get the radar just balanced there. Further north around Indianapolis, there's a couple showers in the area, maybe a rumble of thunder up there, but really not expecting too much to happen up there. Main concerns further south here. And if there's going to be more severe weather, it's going to have it down here with this cluster of storms. But again, widespread severe weather is not expected today. It's going to be a more localized nature. The tornado warning that was issued at the start of the stream, promise go live, that was there for one scan. The rotation was there for literally one scan down there north of Evansville, and it just went away. It was not long-lived at all. And I don't believe, to my knowledge at least, it did not touch ground. Also, the latest scan on this storm in the Belpin Jasper area, the rotation is just completely gone. It's just wind now. So that tells me we can hop out of here safely and not to worry about going back live. But at very least, the brighter pocket there of red does indicate we do have some stronger winds in the Belpin Stendal area on State Route 257 and 64. Here in Jasper, Huntingburg, you guys might get a downstream warning here soon for wind. Would not be shocked by that by any means. But in the meantime, I think the rotation is completely gone. So yeah, if you're up there, like I was saying, up there in the Indianapolis area, got a couple Muncie questions, got a couple Winchester, New Albany area. New Albany's further south. We'll get to that in a second. But up here in the Indy area, no severe expected, but maybe a passing rain shower there through the evening for you guys. Any severe weather for Bloomington? Not right now, but these storms are heading up your direction. I would not be shocked to see a couple stronger ones this evening. Right now, though, just some light rain for you guys. Nothing imminent for Bloomington. New Albany area, you guys have, I believe you are out ahead of this still. I believe you're right over here. Where are you guys at? Am I tripping, or did they move New Albany? So is that up here further? I put New Albany on the map, every forecast map we make, and now I can't find it on this. But anyway, yeah, you should have some storms heading up your direction here. What's this back here? Am I tripping? No, it's gotta be up here. I can't even find New Albany. Where are you guys at? There you guys are. Louisville. Yeah, you guys got some storms heading your direction. I knew you were over there somewhere. Goodness. Took me a while to find that on the radar. I was in the right area. What about the storm west of Terre Haute? Let's go ahead and go up to Terre Haute. Terre Haute. Let's check out the Lincoln radar here. Terre Haute is in a very weird area where you have radars all around it, but nothing really close to it. So we have to kind of think the Indianapolis radar has a better look at this. It's hard to tell with the radar scan being that high up. I don't see anything here, perhaps some gusty winds with downbursts, but I don't see anything here besides the flash flood threat. If you live in downtown TH, you probably are going to have some localized flooding there with that rain, but I don't see anything severe with that at the current time. Maybe some gusty winds. Martinsville area, same thing applies for Martinsville as Bloomington. I think Martinsville will get some rain and some storms later on this evening. Severe chances that far north, I wouldn't really expect it, but would not be shocked to see a couple heavy boomers tonight and perhaps really heavy rain. What direction are storms going? They're moving to the east, primarily a bit north. So there's your animation. Most of these are going due east very slowly. Slow storm motions mean heavier rainfall in a short amount of time. But down here, there's a feature here. These storms moving up to the northeast, Huntingburg, English, Corydon areas. So keep in mind, if you're down here in South Indiana, your storms come from the southwest. But up here in Bloomington, for example, you guys are more so due west to east. So anywhere down here, Lanesville, Corydon, we're going to see storms approaching you guys in about probably a half hour to 45 minutes. They could be severe in nature. Any threat today, any severe storm would contain gusty winds as your primary concern. I do not see there being a sustained concern for anything tornadic, and I certainly do not see much in the way of any hail threat today. It should just be a brief gusty wind threat. The environment today supports heavy rain. All that rain comes down with force. It hits the ground. It spreads outward. We call those microbursts or downbursts. And that's where you get those heavier winds within storms. There's very little wind shear today, so we don't expect tornadoes. And that wind shear also organizes updrafts for hail. But because there's no shear to organize, hail shouldn't be a concern either today. At least large hail shouldn't be a concern. Columbus, you guys have some rain moving in. No storms currently. Again, would not be shocked to see a couple storms later on tonight. Batesville, same thing applies for you guys there in Batesville. Nothing right now, but incoming later on tonight. The severe threat should gradually go down as evening goes on. Yeah, I'm pretty confident we can probably hop out of here if we wanted to, but I enjoy talking to you guys, so I'll stay on for a few more minutes. No warning for Dubois County has been issued at this current time. There is still some signatures of some gustier winds moving into the Jasper, Huntingburg areas. Go ahead and pause the radar there. There you go. The brighter reds, Ireland, Otwell, Velpen, Huntingburg, about to hit Jasper as well. No severe warning, excuse me, but would not be shocked to see some gusty winds there. Nothing for Mitchell at the current time, but storms are moving in from the west. The one currently to your northwest may miss you guys to the north in Bedford, but don't worry, we got a lot more rain to go through. And again, this is not going to help our flash flood situation. I had to post on the page earlier today on Facebook because we had way too many flood warnings getting posted over and over, and those are automated. And there was probably, if you had to guess, probably close to 60 of them today so far. So the Weather Service has been busy issuing those. But I've wanted to post some information on the heat ahead and some storm activity, but it just gets buried in the feed. It's crazy how many flood warnings we've had today. To be exact, flash flood warnings, not just flood warnings. take a look at the futurecast here on the radar for you guys before I hop out of here. You can look at the previous model here. Let's go ahead and reanimate this. There we go. So this is what the futurecast says on the latest guidance model. Storm is what is to 5 o'clock right now. So we go to 5 o'clock. This is about what it looks like on radar, perhaps a little bit more in the way of some lighter rain elsewhere, but this will continue to move to the east and north. We have some storm developing up there by the Muncie, Lafayette area. Up here shouldn't be severe, and overall further south, this should not be severe after the sunset time frame, but storms may continue on into the evening hours. They should not be severe, but could contain heavy rain with it. So overall, this stretch should die off pretty quickly at or around sunset with just lingering showers and storms south of Kokomo. So 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. By 3 a.m., it says we're completely clear. Evansville may have a couple showers overnight in the morning hours, but not much happening there. All right, back to radar here. I think we're going to hop out of here, guys. There's not much going on here with the storms anymore. Looks like some gusty winds is about all we got to expect. Even the storm down in Perry County doesn't look impressive anymore. So we could see a couple more warnings issued. Won't be surprised by any means. But at this point, I think we are good to hop out of here. Gusty winds, primary concern with any heavy storm, as well as flash flooding. Do not expect there to be any hail or anything rotation-wise to continue into the evening hours. But if you're ahead of this, Orange, Martin, DuBois, Crawford, Harrison, Floyd, Washington, or Lawrence counties, you may have a couple stronger storms throughout the evening. In fact, they just went ahead and extended the severe watch for Crawford, DuBois, Harrison, Orange, Perry, Washington County until 9 o'clock. So they're basically saying, hey, these storms right now that are currently producing some gusty winds in some areas, they're going to continue pushing into your area here next 2 hours. So be alert. That watch is primarily for wind as well. So nothing new that I haven't told you guys already. All right, with that said, we're going to hop out of here, get some dinner, relax, keep an eye on the page. If you guys have any reports of damage or flooding or anything, feel free to message us on Facebook. We'll gladly take those reports. And if you want to, we can also feature your stuff on the page as well. We're trying to get flooding content out there to bring awareness to the situation. Yeah, feel free to use us as a report section, if so to speak. All right, with that being said, we're going to hop out of here. See you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.